You've felt it before, haven't you? That strange vibration, that subtle signal, that whisper in the back of your mind telling you something is off, or something is about to happen. Maybe it was a person you thought of who called you seconds later. Maybe it was the feeling someone was staring at you, and they were. Or maybe, at least once in your life, you sensed danger before it arrived, without knowing how or why. Today we're stepping directly into that strange territory. The idea that human beings may possess a sixth sense, a perception beyond the known five, a hidden channel to reality that most of us never learn to use. But before we go any further, remember this. What you're about to hear has been studied, denied, embraced, debunked, rediscovered, and feared across all of human history. So as you listen, ask yourself one question honestly. Do you truly know the limits of your perception? Or have you simply accepted what you've been told? Long before the age of scientific rationality, ancient cultures believed humans possessed more than the senses we use every day. In ancient India, the Upanishads described subtle perceptions, pratyaksha, experiences not transmitted by the known senses but by consciousness itself. In ancient Greece, Aristotle named the five senses, but even he hinted that humans may possess something deeper, an internal sense, a way of perceiving the world without direct stimulus. Medieval mystics spoke of intuition as a divine form of knowledge. And in indigenous cultures around the world, intuitive awareness wasn't mystical at all. It was practical, natural, and trained. Hunters spoke of knowing where prey was long before they saw or heard it. Warriors sensed ambushes. Mothers sensed danger to their children across great distances. Then came science, and with it, skepticism. Over the last century, laboratories have tried to measure what many people feel instinctively. One of the most famous early experiments involved card guessing, the original ESP tests, where individuals attempted to identify symbols without seeing them. Critics dismissed the results, calling the experiments flawed, biased, or simply lucky. But some test subjects performed a little too well, far above statistical chance, and certain researchers quietly admitted there was something they couldn't explain. Move forward in time and you find the work of neuroscientists studying pre-conscious perception. The idea is simple but unsettling. Your brain receives information before you're consciously aware of it. You react before you know why. For example, several experiments show that people can sense when they're being watched, even without seeing or hearing anything. The body responds. Heart rate shifts, skin conductivity changes, pupils dilate. The conscious mind catches up later. So is this intuition, instinct, or is it something else? Some researchers argue it's pattern recognition operating beneath awareness, the brain noticing subtle cues your conscious mind misses. But others suggest the possibility of something more mysterious, a form of non-local perception, the ability to detect information beyond the immediate physical senses. This idea, still considered fringe by mainstream academia, refuses to disappear. And you might wonder, why does it bother scientists so much? Maybe because, if true, it challenges the assumed boundaries of the human mind. But the sixth sense isn't just intuition or ESP. It can refer to extended perception, magnetic sensing, electrical sensitivity, and even the detection of subtle changes in the environment. Many animals have these abilities. Humans supposedly do not. Yet scattered evidence hints otherwise. Some people sense earthquakes before they occur. Some athletes describe entering the zone, where time slows and they anticipate actions before they happen. Soldiers in combat often report knowing when danger is coming, even without visible signs. These experiences are dismissed as coincidence, unless you're the one who felt them. But what if the sixth sense isn't a superpower? What if it's simply an unused sense, a natural system that modern society has dulled through comfort, distraction, and noise? Think of how often you ignore your instincts, how often your mind is crowded with notifications and screens. Ancient humans lived in silence, darkness, forests, deserts, exposed to nature and danger, their senses sharpened by necessity. Perhaps they didn't have a special ability. Perhaps they simply listened more deeply to themselves and the world around them. Let's travel through history again, but this time through the lens of those who claim to touch this hidden perception. In the 19th century, mystics and spiritualists spoke of clairvoyance and mediumship. Some were frauds, some were performers, but buried within their stories were individuals who confounded skeptics, describing objects hidden in sealed envelopes or events happening miles away. When tested, some failed miserably, but some passed tests under strict conditions, enough that governments quietly became interested. During the Cold War, intelligence agencies funded research into remote viewing, the ability to perceive distant locations. The results were classified for decades. When documents were declassified, the public was told the experiments were inconclusive. Yet the programs ran for more than 20 years. You don't invest decades into something that doesn't work. You invest decades into something you don't fully understand but can't ignore. Movies have taken this concept and exaggerated it brilliantly. The Sixth Sense, Minority Report, Limitless, Lucy, Dr. Sleep. They portray the extraordinary, the impossible, the supernatural. But behind every fictional story lies a grain of scientific curiosity. What if the real sixth sense is subtle, quiet? Not telepathy or telekinesis, but a deeper connection to reality itself. One that Hollywood amplifies, but nature keeps simple. So let's break it down, not academically, not skeptically, but practically. What exactly could a sixth sense be? It could be intuition, your brain's ability to detect patterns before you consciously process them. It could be precognition, a controversial idea, but studied through experiments that show changes in the body seconds before random emotional images appear on a screen. It could be magnetoreception, the sense of direction which humans may possess weakly, similar to birds. It could be electrosensitivity, the ability to detect electrical fields, a trait proven in fish and some mammals. It could be interoception, awareness of your internal state, often mistaken for gut feelings. Or it could be something humans haven't properly measured yet, a missing piece of perception waiting to be recognized. There's a moment, described by many people who've experienced life-threatening events, where they knew something was wrong moments before it happened. They changed direction, hesitated, stepped back, and avoided disaster. You might call it luck, they call it something else. But whatever it is, it suggests human perception is far more complex than the five-sense model we were taught as children. Now imagine this sense amplified. Imagine what humanity could do if we learned to trust it, develop it, understand it. What if the sixth sense isn't a paranormal anomaly, but an evolutionary advantage that we simply lost? What if we are all walking around with a dormant tool, a biological compass, a silent radar, that activates only when we're calm enough, aware enough, or desperate enough to notice it? Perhaps that's why you're listening right now. Because deep down, you've felt it. You've had moments you can't explain. Moments of knowing without knowing. Moments you dismissed because the world told you they were imaginary. But you remembered them. They left an imprint. And maybe, just maybe, they were real. The limits of human perception have never been fully mapped. Science is still trying to understand consciousness, intuition, and the strange ways the brain interacts with reality. And every year, more research suggests the possibility that our senses are not limited to the physical organs we see, but include deeper networks of perception, bioelectrical, cognitive, perhaps even quantum. So the next time you sense something, pay attention. The next time your instincts whisper, listen closely. The next time you feel watched or warned or called towards something, don't dismiss it. Your mind might be speaking through a channel older than language, older than memory, older than logic. And if all of this sounds mysterious, strange, or impossible, ask yourself one final question. If the sixth sense truly exists, in any form, who benefits from you believing it doesn't? Maybe the truth has always been there. Maybe you've always had access to it. Maybe the real mystery isn't whether the sixth sense is real, but why we stop talking about it.